This is Cadillac's most advanced and expensive vehicle that they've ever made. It's customizable, handmade, and it's all electric, and somebody told them it was a good idea to give me the keys. Now this is the Cadillac of Cadillacs. This is the Celestiq, a 3-ton ultra luxury land yacht that looks like a concept car that just happens to have snuck out on the roads. It's really fascinating to see all these individual steps and how it comes together. Today we'll take you behind the scenes where only a few have been granted access to. We'll walk the Celestiq production line and see if Cadillac's $350,000 bespoke EV can once again reclaim the brand's heritage for being a symbol of prestige. It's a futuristic liftback with really a concept car aesthetic, and it's bold, it's polarizing, and it's extremely modern. The Celestiq is not only Cadillac's most expensive vehicle ever made, but it's also the most advanced. There's 275 patented and patent pending technologies built right into this vehicle. It's one of their most advanced vehicles that they've ever built, starting with this chromatic roof.
So we have a technology in our glass roof. We've divided all 4 quadrants of the car, so each seating position can choose the amount of dimming that they want to have in their seating. So maybe somebody is using a screen and somebody else wants it to be daylight. You can have a different amount of dimming in each of the 4 positions. And then we also have ambient lighting through the roof. So there's a pattern that you can see when it's dark and when it's lit, and then there's an endless array of any color that you would like.
We also have a 55-inch LED touchscreen, but of course you probably don't want to be touching it and getting your fingerprints all over it. So we have the dial down here, and you can see we have the Return of the Cadillac Goddess. I love that that's in this vehicle. And there's so many different nods to heritage as well. We have the different vehicles, their flagship vehicles, all built in right here, as well as this steering wheel kind of has that retro vibe. And then everything you've seen here that looks like metal is real metal.
We had to start from scratch, which is an engineer's dream, to start a car from scratch and design it from the ground up. So this is not based on any other architecture or any other vehicle that we have here at GM. This is truly unique.
With all the electric startups these days, it's easy to forget about cars with heritage. But Cadillac has been around for a while. They started in 1902, and they were known for their futuristic and bold design choices, kind of like this 1959 Eldorado. And did you know that they were the first to put rockets on the back of their vehicles? In the past 2 decades, Cadillac has embraced more of an edgy vibe, but before that era, it was known to past generations for being a bit more out there with chrome, fins, and rocket-shaped designs. So how do you take this legacy, turn it electric, and make the Celestiq a completely bespoke flagship with limited units going into production that will compete with Rolls-Royce and Bentley? So I feel like there are some unique retro little areas in here.
We tried to pay homage to our heritage. So if you look, we have a couple of our heritage vehicles here. This is a Cadillac V16 from 1934. This is the 1959 Eldorado, but sometimes we have the 57 Eldorado Brougham here. At the time, that was the most expensive vehicle in the world. So Cadillac has a very strong heritage of being the flagship luxury vehicle. So we were working to bring that heritage back. So you'll see some design elements in the car where we've brought back some of the design elements. If you come over here, we've added our Cadillac Goddess. So this, you see, this was our Cadillac logo back in the 50s, and we've brought that back.
That makes me so happy to see that, to see the little goddess. It's like, I don't know, it's like a little spark of joy when you see that. All right, guys, this is one of the most useful and affordable tools that I keep in my garage, and actually I keep it in both of my cars at all times. This is the L7 3-in-1 portable tire inflator. Thanks to Astro AI for sponsoring this video. They're known for premium tire inflators. So here's a mini water bottle, and you can see it's almost the exact same size. It weighs under a pound, but packs 150 PSI and a 17 per minute airflow. It can also pump your car tire from 30 to 36 PSI in just 90 seconds. And it has a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, which can refill 8 tires on one charge alone. Or you can use its USB and USB-C ports to charge your devices. It also has smart modes for your car, motorcycle, bike, ball, or custom too, and it has an auto shut-off function as well. And it has 3 light modes. So there we have our flashlight, strobe, or even an SOS function, and this is a great feature when you're in the dark. They've also updated the sensor tech so it receives air pressure data 200 times a second, so you avoid any dangers of over or under inflation and super accurate readings. To get yours, check out the link in the description below, and remember, when you use our links, you're also helping to support this channel. All right, let's get back to the video.
So this is the charge port. This lights up at night, and then there's just a button here and it opens.
And then this lights up right here. Is this a charging indicator?
That is your charging indicator. Yep,
Okay.
it'll flash green while it's charging and then solid green when it's finished. So same philosophy of how we charge, how we run our infotainment system as the rest of the Cadillac lineup. So it'll feel familiar to you if you're driving a Cadillac Escalade IQ, you can get into this vehicle. It'll feel familiar from a software and interface standpoint. We've wanted to do a flagship for a period of time on Cadillac, and we've talked about it. We've not done it. We've had sketches. We didn't do it. And they said, let's make this car. This is the car. It's going to be electric because that's the future for Cadillac. So let's make that car.
Cadillac has fully committed to an all-electric lineup with its Lyriq, Optiq, Vistiq, and Escalade IQ. The Celestiq takes it up a notch as the halo vehicle for the brand. All hand-built with over 93 paint colors and 350,000 possible build combinations, aiming to restore Cadillac's so-called standard of the world legacy.
Lots of options to just check and make sure we are going towards the right direction.
So you can, if somebody has something specific they want, you can actually go out and source those things for them and then put it into the vehicle, even if it's not something we're seeing here today.
Yes.
With a starting price of $340,000, the Celestiq has slim competition in this category, with the Rolls-Royce Spectre being the only EV in this space. Only 25 Celestiqs will be built this year, nearly all of which have already been accounted for. And Cadillac hopes this combination of futuristic tech coupled with its brand heritage separate it from the pack. When you see this in photos or when you're watching it in video, it looks so different than what I'm seeing here in person, because you're like, how does this all fit together? But it's so beautiful when you actually see it, because it's like, I mean, what are these, 23 inches?
Yes.
They're big wheels. It's longer than an Escalade.
Yes.
But at the same time, it works together. And then the hood or the bonnet is really long and wide as well.
It is the largest hood we've made, all made out of carbon fiber, molded in the shape that we wanted.
And then the material here, is this carbon fiber, or what are the different panels?
So most of the panels are carbon fiber. So the body structure is underneath, and then the panels are carbon fiber, the hood is carbon fiber. The doors we had to make out of a sheet molding compound because the radars can't see through carbon fiber. So we spent a lot of time, the team spent a ton of time working through how to hide all the sensors and all the cameras, because in a lot of vehicles you'll see cameras and sensors around the front and around the rear, but we worked really hard to hide them underneath all of the panels so that you don't see them. So if you look inside the rear, we've got a very large aluminum trim ring here. And this is again where we tried to utilize some unique manufacturing processes. We put this in a very large piece of aluminum in a mold, and we heat it up almost to the melting point, and then you blow a little air on it and it just melts itself down into the mold to create the shape, so that it's a single piece with no seams and a nice brushed aluminum finish.
It's really interesting. And then this opens up and there's a small front trunk inside as well. It's really stunning. It sort of like takes your breath away because it's unique, it's different, and it's like futuristic as well, which I think, going back to Cadillac's history, original cars that came out with Cadillac were known for being kind of modern and futuristic, and you've brought a lot of that in with this.
Yeah, Cadillac has always been known to bring technology in. Cadillac has been our technology leader, and we bring technology in here first to help continue to advance where we're going and what we're doing, and then we can take some of that technology and some of the learnings that we learn doing a vehicle like this and apply it across the rest of the portfolio. We had to start from scratch, which is an engineer's dream, to start a car from scratch and design it from the ground up. So this is not based on any other architecture or any other vehicle that we have here at GM. This is truly unique. It's a luxury vehicle, but we also wanted it to have that sports sedan feel. So it's got a lot of technology in the suspension system that allows it to have the really great ride and the really great handling. So added our MR dampers. We have an active roll control in this car, which is unique for this car, that keeps it planted. So when you go around a corner, you don't get any body roll. It keeps the car very planted at all four corners. We've got air suspension at all four corners to give it that extra ride. And we've also got rear wheel steering. So with the long wheelbase, it's nice to make it maneuverable in a parking lot or even driving down the road. It gives it that extra maneuverability.
I love that there's no door handles.
Yes.
That's really cool.
That is the sleekest door handle you can have, is no door handle. So yeah, we have power doors. So with just a button, they open and close. You also, from the front command center, you can open and close all four. So if your driver pulls up, they can open the door for you. You don't even have to touch the button, and they can close it for you as well. We have radars that we built into the doors so that if you're parked close to somebody or somebody's standing there, they'll stop, so they won't just keep opening. So we tried to think through everything. The driver's door, when you get in, if you step your foot on the brake, the door will close for you, the car will start.
The Celestiq's unique design process also required a one-of-a-kind manufacturing technique.
So a couple of the other things that we've done special on this car. So I mentioned 3D printing. A good example of that is this steering wheel surround. So this is all one piece, and it's 3D printed, and because you wouldn't be able to get it out of a die in that shape. So in a die, you have to have everything designed in the same direction to be able to pull the part out of the die. Otherwise, you can't get it out, and we had unique shapes that we wanted, so we had to find a different way to make it. And then one of the really unique things we did, so these are backlit, so all of your switches are a capacitive touch sensitive switch through the aluminum, through the metal. And if you typically try to laser through aluminum, it gets too hot and it'll deform. So we had to find a different way to do it. So our team went out and they found a laser from the medical industry that's used in microsurgery that does a very, very short, very, very fast pulse, and that allows us to get the spacing in to have the backlighting come through those switches at night without deforming the aluminum. So really thinking differently in everything we do on this car. If it looks like metal on the interior, it is metal. There is no plastic in our interior. This adjustable guide loop, which is not a glamorous part usually for the seatbelt, but we wanted to make that also out of metal. Again, no plastic in the vehicle. But that is the first safety feature we've ever made out of 3D printing, because it has to function in a crash. It has to meet all of our safety requirements. So we validated the process of 3D printing it and validated the part, and we actually broke the test tool when we were trying to measure its strength. It was so strong. It more than meets the requirements, but it's the first time we've 3D printed a safety feature, and we're pretty proud of that. Michelin has allowed us, we're one of only a couple, I think, in the world that allowed us to put a logo on the side. So this is our Cadillac Mondrian pattern that's molded right into the side of the tire to make it special.
Yeah, I've never seen a tire with the design elements built into it like that, but that's really unique.
Right.
And special.
It's very special for Celestiq. You'll see we continue the philosophy of hiding the sensors. We don't want you seeing sensors, so we made sure that they can read through the panels that we have here. This is, again, a single piece of billet aluminum that's molded and brushed to give that nice, clean appearance. When you charge, your charge indicators for how full your battery is will light up here. So if you open the cup holders, you'll see that on that metal piece, we've designed in our inspiration vehicles from our heritage. So it has the 1934 V16. It's got the 1957 Eldorado Brougham and Celestiq.
Am I allowed to?
Yes,
I'm like, oh my goodness.
Please.
Wow. Wow. I love that. These little details are just so fun and unique. Wow, and then you also have, wow.
You'll see the Cadillac goddess again in the multifunction controller.
Yes.
Yep.
And I love the goddess.
We've etched in our build location coordinates here, latitude and longitude, so you can Google that and see where your car was built.
The Celestiq packs a 111 kilowatt-hour battery with a rated range of 303 miles. It features the same dual motors you'll find in the Lyriq V, outputting 655 horsepower and a 0 to 60 at 3.7 seconds. It's both quicker and has more range than the Spectre. So after you design your one-of-one vehicle, they actually have to build it. So we're in the Artisan Center where they're actually building them behind us. Its production line contrasts GM's other lines where robots and automation account for 90% of the process, where here, nearly the entire vehicle is pieced together by hand.
This is the beginning point of general assembly. We have 7 stations here online. So we have our IP sub-assembly, or some people refer to it as the cockpit. And then we have our center console sub-assemblies as well. So what's unique to our facility here is we don't receive any of these sub-assemblies from any third-party suppliers. Our skilled team builds these from absolute start to finish. Not only do we build them, but then once we get done building them, we have inline quality checks here. You can see all these blue connectors hanging here. We will plug them into all of the connectors coming off of either the IP or the center consoles and test them electrically. Continuity, that the modules are talking, that everything that the team was supposed to secure and supposed to connect was indeed completed to the specifications. The team has the capability of hooking the vehicle up to what's called a rotisserie. That means that we're able to pin the vehicle in the front and the back and rotate it on its axis on any side we need. That allows our artisans to get into the most optimal position in order to install our main body wire harnesses, modules, push pins, make any connections that they need, so that way they have the minimal amount of strain on themselves, but more importantly puts them in the absolute best position in order to install those components in the vehicle.
And you guys can probably tell as we're walking through here, all these people have been handpicked. They're all artisans, they're craftsmen. They can build a car from start to finish themselves. And as they're going through, they're checking everything by hand, by computer, all these different layers of quality control, and they actually only build 2 cars a day because of all the steps that are needed to make sure the quality is amazing.
Once we get the notification to start building the vehicle, once we have all of our parts, our material team will start to pull them together and kit all of the parts for that particular vehicle in its designated locations. That way, when it gets here to our artisan team, it eliminates the waste, where they don't have to search for parts. Everything that they would need for that particular station is there, readily available for them, in perfect quality. They just have to remove it from the material rack and then start to install it to the vehicle.
Wow. I'm sort of like, think about when you do Legos and each, like there's the little bags that come in the Lego box when you're building something really big, and you have like all the different pieces laid out for you and you do one bag at a time. Each little area in here is essentially like all those pieces that you'll need. Similar to what Tesla does with Cybertruck and Model Y, Celestiq also utilizes Megacastings, bringing 6 main castings together, including GM's first full underbody casting.
This vehicle is comprised of 6 castings, 2 in the front, 2 here in the middle, and 2 in the rear. In a normal body shop, you might get, close to 1,000 sub-assembly metal components that come together that need to get welded. You can have overlap of dimensional and quality and stack up of tolerances that might not lead to the best dimensional integrity. With this vehicle, you don't have that because you have fewer components that are machined to such tight precisions that allow us to build a very dimensionally solid and good quality vehicle. Once we start building it, this unit will only go into the vehicle that it is assigned to. So that's where we have all of our scanning and all of our torque checks, that as much as we could potentially interchange, we don't do that. When it's built specifically for that unit, so that way we have tracking and what we call traceability. So that way we know all of these torques, all of these components, all of the shocks with the air suspension that we scanned and tied to vehicle number 4 will always be with vehicle number 4. So that way, in the future, if we ever have a quality issue or a warranty problem, we can tie those specific components or parts directly back to that vehicle.
And I compare it to some of the other factories that I've been inside of, is that it's a lot smaller because they're building handmade cars here and they're working on one vehicle. They're working on the Celestiq. And this is not this high volume vehicle where you're trying to make as many as possible. You're trying to make it the best quality as possible, to make it their halo vehicle, will compete with, Bentley, Rolls Royce. Ooh, you can really see the ambient light in here too. which is so pretty. Look at that blue. Check this out. This is the builder badge, and it actually says hand built in Detroit on it. So cool. I love being able to see all those little details and how they come together. Now, we talked about being able to close the door by putting your foot on the brake, but you can also just swipe. We did get a brief opportunity to drive the Celestiq, and a few items stood out. For as long and wide as it is, it seems to shrink around you with rear wheel steering and anti-roll bars that resist lean. The cabin is ultra quiet and incredibly plush, and though the 0 to 60 of 3.7 is incredibly quick, it's not the breakneck speeds you'll find in other performance-based EVs. Now, this is probably not the vehicle that buyers are going to be racing around with. This is more the type of vehicle where you live in the city and you want to get out of the city for the weekend, go for a nice drive, maybe have your driver driving you around while you're doing some work in the back seat. The Cadillac Celestiq blends audacious luxury from its storied past with cutting-edge technology, redefining opulence in the EV era. What is your favorite feature? Do you have a favorite?
We've heated your armrest. We have a radiant heated panel on the doors, and we have what we call a neck scarf, so we can blow a little bit of warm air on the back of your neck, and it kind of envelops you in this nice little warm cocoon. It makes you feel cozy. It's a different one. You can see the colors come in. And the Mondrian pattern is in the glass, but you notice that you don't see it during the daytime. You only see it when the ambient light is on.
And it's not like it's casting like a shadow on you, like
Right.
a weird shadow at all. It's just like design. From what I've seen today, Celestiq definitely sets a whole new benchmark in this category, in this space. Cadillac's known for setting that new standard. We think it's the Cadillac of, it builds that standard of luxury, and that's what you think of. And with the Celestiq, they've definitely set their heights high. And I think other vehicles are gonna be taking some design inspiration from this vehicle as well. Let me know what you guys think of it, how you would configure it if you were able to design one of these. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I have tons of videos just like this where I get to take you guys along for the ride, see some unique experiences. So please make sure you're subscribed if you feel I've earned it, and I'll catch you next time.